as well. So certainly got to continue to watch that one as it continues to move on through. Going back up over here for a moment, stay off that. We know we're still on ABC, and I'm on NBC as well up there. Looks like so at least over the air. Okay. So here's my plan for folks in the back room, and you tell me if this is doable. At 7 p.m., if they don't upgrade this to a tornado warning, I think we'll probably go into primetime programming. Okay, is that something that y'all can do? Okay. So working toward that there. Hopeful that maybe this on the south side, see how you have this storm near Buckhorn's kind of wrapped back around, the precipitation's kind of wrapping around that. Hopefully that kind of chokes off any warm air that this storm has to go off of as it moves eastward. That's one of the hopes. Come back here to the storm that's south of Grenada. And I say South Grenada, it's near Sweet Home Road in the intersection of Mississippi Highway 35. We circle it for you there. That's where, again, it's broad rotation, but that rotation is right now checking with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. And, okay, I'm going to see if I can pop this up here, and it might have disconnected. Yeah, and our power hit that disconnect. Just give me a moment to see if I can pop that back down. I'll see if I can get it reconnected. Let's give me just a moment. Because we do have a shot of what looks like another wall cloud, which is the part where rotation gets more organized on these thunderstorms. That is on that Grenada storm. So let's see if I can pull that up for you. Again, this is looking kind of back into that area of rotation there, and he's shooting a shot of his drone. His drone's up in there, and he's just taking a picture of the readout there. And so you can see a couple of spots there where there are lowerings there, where the rotation's trying to show up. No tornadoes out of that, but certainly an organized thunderstorm that bears some monitoring as it continues to move there toward Grenada, or really it's more toward Camp McCain Road there, the south part there of Grenada County, where that one is tracking at this time. Full wide shot here is kind of give an overview of where things stand as of 6:55. Again, we continue to have this strong wind-producing thunderstorm, fairly fast moving down here, considerable damage possible, and maybe even destructive winds out of this thunderstorm near Eden and approaching Mississippi Highway 12 there. Let's get a storm track on that. Let's actually double check this forward motion on that. We'll see how fast the Weather Service has that going. So they have it going 45 miles per hour. Okay, so 45 to 50. John, we need to double check to see if that 50 we've been tracking things is too fast. It feels too fast. But then it...
The south storm will move much slower compared to the north north. Western Water Valley would be considerably slower.
Okay. Okay, I appreciate that. So you'll notice kind of Goodman there. That's pretty close to our area. We show that at 7:12. Pickens at 7:13. Boyette at 7:17. Newport at 7:23. Bolatusha at 7:27. Joseph at 7:25. In hail, damaging winds, main impacts out of that thunderstorm there. Let's come north. And let's look at this sliver of a severe thunderstorm warning still in effect for western and southwest Pontotoc County. Again, Lafayette and Calhoun counties have been removed from the severe thunderstorm warning here. As we check out the wind mode on Storm Track Doppler radar, notice how the rotation's way ahead. And again, I think that has to do with the... Hold on. I might not have the latest data on the precipitation mode. In fact, I would bet a bucket load of money precipitation mode hasn't updated, but the wind mode has. So let's look at it from a different radar. Let's go from Memphis and see if from Memphis I have a shot where we have the precipitation caught up. Yeah, we do.
I would say the storm down in Grenada, that's more than 40 miles per hour. Like I said, most of the pictures are really just the one that was north of Western Tupelo, we were at 100 Water Valley was slower. This one was slower. Precipitation is slower for farther southwest.
I think you're right on that. That's pretty true. Yalobusha County Emergency Manager, according to our Emily Leonard, no damage reports as of 6:45. So within the last 10 to 12 minutes or so, no damage reports out of Yalobusha County. That's great to hear, especially considering where that went. Where we're looking here in Pontotoc County, looking at this latest scan, I would put our area of circulation, probably, especially looking from the Memphis radar site there, running all the way out here near Algoma at this time, approaching Mississippi Highway 15, the current location on that there. So Mississippi Highway 15, kind of in the path of what's probably going to be some hail as well. When we start getting those kind of black colors and darker purples, that usually is a scenario where we have some hail. I'm going to have to check south of Buckhorn here in a minute as well. I do think that, hold on, it's just three-dimensionally on this one. Get a shot there. Yeah, it's up 35,000 feet with the internal hail core on that one. Let's go and loop that. I would say the hail potential on that still is increasing. That's probably still a severe thunderstorm as it rolls into southern Lee County. And this might at some point prompt another tornado warning if it were to get more organized. It's still kind of an environment where that seems like a possibility. Yeah, I think still that's a concern there. Obviously, you hear in the background here heavy rainfall picking up the television station, but that's a non-severe thunderstorm and nowhere near as strong as the storm that we're tracking down there closer to Algoma. So let's get a storm track on kind of the leading edge of the heaviest hail and wind on this thunderstorm here. Again, tracking that toward the Chihuahua area at 703. Good Food at 704. Troy at 708. Verona at 717. Shannon 720. And Brewer at about 721. Doppler radar indicated rotation in a broad way, still somewhat there, but more than anything, I would say that's some lightning, heavy rainfall. The Grenada storm is relatively unimpressive on this shot. We mentioned we come back to it a little bit ago. Looking at this storm closer to Hamilton, Alabama, that one has definitely increased a bit more, and it has split. So Bexar, watching for you in Hamilton as well. We'll see another shot of this here in just a second. That storm kind of splitting. We'll have to see if that one eventually can hold together out here, watching for Bear Creek and Hamilton 709. But as for now, I think we're going to go to regularly scheduled programming at 7 o'clock. Hopefully we can keep you there. But obviously, if we look at a situation, we feel like we have a life-threatening situation or tornado warning, we'll be cutting in. Keep it here for the latest. Okay. So let's see. We are still on this and still on that. Okay, I'll let you reload it. That works. I'm going to mute my mic for just a second. Oh, John, in my. I got one storm chaser. I don't know. Is it coming from the TV? I know. I don't hear the all. Something the music or something like that. I know. Yeah. It might be part of those spots.
Some storm chaser.
Okay. I'll check. Was it where they send it? Was it just?
No, he didn't say anything. He just called and said, hey, let Matt know.
Okay.
Check the Tupelo camera.
Okay, I will check that then. I will check that camera here in just a second. Thank you. We are in the rain, that's for sure, here in the Tupelo area at the moment. Second here, double check kind of what we've had. Map flicks. Okay, let's kind of check and see if anybody has anything else they're reporting, and then we'll kind of work our way through this here. Someone mentioned they've never heard of Good Food in Chihuahua. That's because you're not from the area. But those folks down there, they know all about those places. And that's kind of like it is in your community. You know some places that nobody else has ever heard of. That tends to be the situation as well. That happens with a lot of other folks. Let's look at Tupelo. Let's look at, I'm going to go near Maine. See if I can look west. We're already in the rain there. Let's look. Yeah, we're going to be kind of in the rain in all the different places as well. I don't think there's anything there that's overly concerning at the moment, so I'm not going to worry about those. Come back here to Storm Track Doppler radar, the rainfall mode. Let's get this kind of back to our normal angle. I'll be honest, these back here out toward Hamilton are interesting. That 1 year Bexar, it's a splitting storm. This one's going to go northeast. This one's going to have a tornado potential with the north of Hamilton after south of Hackleburg, north of Pierce's Mills. That's probably what's going to happen. This has split. This one's one to watch. So it'll probably be eastern, hopefully eastern Marion County before it does it. But that's one to watch there. We're going to continue the live stream here for a little bit, and then we're going to kind of go from there. And we're going to see if folks in Algoma, what have y'all seen? To kind of see the latest on what this is kind of capable of there. Still has some rotation with it, still potentially some stronger winds as well. And it's fairly well wrapped up in. I get why the Weather Service dropped the tornado warning on this, because there's still rotation at about the same level we've had it for the last 30 minutes there. South of Algoma, south of Tawampa, north of Good Food, along Pockshish Road, moving in the direction of Mississippi Highway 41. That's the Natchez Trace Parkway there. So kind of moving all in those directions. Got to write something down here on my thing. It mentions we are still live on YouTube TV. There is a possibility we do. I think I need to see a little more than what I'm seeing now. It's possible. What you thinking? Yeah, go ahead. And if we'll take that gamble. Let me write something down here for a moment. I'll write down Natchez Trace. Okay. Apologize for that. I want to make sure I have that straight out. I need to check for y'all pictures and stuff like that. NWS is absolutely still watching these thunderstorms. And this is the one I'm most interested in here. They're Good Food in Troy. In saying that, yeah, this is all just straight line wind back up here. That was a noise. Something fell up there. All right. There we are. Okay. So, golly, Troy, this is pretty close. We might have to go back on here in a minute. It's not as though we haven't told all these folks. Here at Big Blue, Pockshish, right there, south of Chihuahua. That is trying. Let's go and look here at some of the other places where y'all send pictures. I'm going to check on the books of face. Give me a moment. Where's that at? Okay, let's see here. We haven't shown very many safe place selfies this evening. Let's see if I can pull this one up. Haley sending this one in from Sherman a little bit ago. Rewarding people for doing the right thing. Appreciate Haley there in Sherman for sending in a safe place selfie of everybody in the storm shelter there. That doesn't mean any of them wanted to be there, but appreciate them doing the right thing in this case. And watching that for you near 41, whether or not that's going to be something we need to do again for some of those spots. Did get a picture. Check this out a little closer. This location. Unfortunately, got to give me a location if you can. Brandon Fowler. I don't know exactly what Brandon Fowler is, but certainly you can see kind of a lowering on this here. And so you kind of see some of the certainly suspicious looking cloud. We call these a lot of times scud clouds until we can actually see the rotation with them. Appreciate that picture and all the pictures that you share. That one, one of the Facebook pictures. I'll just go ahead and click share on that one real quick. Go. I'm waiting on the next scan here to kind of see if that one will continue to strengthen. Let's south of Grenada, though. It looks a little more impressive than it did, doesn't it? Well, it does not on anything else but that one scan. Click from Jackson. Click from Memphis. I mean, I'll show right along 51 there. That is an area of circulation. I don't know if it's enough to produce a tornado. There's no such thing as a close radar to that one. So we're looking fairly mid-level rotation either way. Let's get a storm track on that. Close to 50 miles per hour where we've been going. Let's keep it going that speed as it moves toward the east there. So you kind of see some of those spots like Gore Springs about 720 or so, Cataract at 732, Slate Springs at 738 as that moves eastward. I catch up on all my stuff with the storm chasers here. Okay, here's a shot from, hold on, let's minimize that. Give me a moment, go back to storm chasers. So Woodland, Pontacola Road. Here's a shot coming from North Mississippi storm chasers there. Nothing impressive on that thunderstorm. This would be that one that we're looking at, southern Pontotoc County. You can see some of the low-hanging stuff, but nothing that is, a very impressive wall cloud. We don't have anything, that's generally all the same height, or I guess, yeah, height's probably the right word. A distance from the ground is what I'm looking for there. Mainly the same distance we don't have in a very obvious area that's extending down more. So appreciate storm chasers for everything they do. I say that a lot. Just kind of looking back through all of the different reports coming in from folks on Facebook there. We got a big chat going on, as we often do, saying and doing a lot of things. Keep it clean, people. Appreciate that. I've only had to ban one person today while we're doing this. It's Pontotoc storm, though, getting more organized on precipitation mode here. Let's check the wind mode. Look from a couple different angles. Look from Memphis radar. It's a little tighter there. Look from Jackson, which is too far away. We'll come back here to Monroe County. Okay. So let's bring it back here. The closest radar. I would say that it's still showing up here as something to watch near Troy, moving toward Old Union and Shannon. We are going to attempt to keep the voice in as much of tonight as we can. But if we have to cover, we have to cover. We'll be right back here. I'm gonna talk to Pat. What's on ABC? I don't know how. No, this, yeah, I think we're high on eight, but this storm is doing something in County. That's why I wanted to have the conversation before we had to cut in.
I'm gonna let them know in the back.
They know. So ignore me chowing down here for a second. Just all of a sudden got really hungry. So I ate the first thing I could find. Wanted to make a mess out of it. John, can I trade you places for just a second? It's fine, I'll do that for everybody.
Well, we've got ourselves a pretty good thunderstorm still going on in Pontotoc County into portions of Lee County. Good news is nothing outrageously stands out with this one right now, except for maybe that little bit of a circulation still over southeastern sections of Pontotoc County right about there. And that once upon a time was still much more stout as it was over toward the Water Valley area. So again, moving off eastward or roughly eastward about 45, 50 miles an hour or so. The storms are a little bit slower off to our south and west. And again, I'm gonna use the other mouse because I'm not. Matt's got this fancy mouse over here, you know.
With my arm issue.
And this one, I don't know if it's, well, if it's like, I guess I might have to use this one. Well, I'm there I go trying to use it, and look what I'm doing. I'm drawing things on here. Yeah.
You're fine.
Well, I guess let's just try something else. You can see, okay, again, going back, I'm trying to get rid of that little, let's see, that track is there, and I guess, well, let's just try to get rid of the track. Well, trying to get rid of the track, folks. There you can see right now, that's the fun stuff of F12. See, Matt knows F12. I'm just trying to click away from it. Okay, so again, pretty strong thunderstorm activity going on from all the way from the Pinella area through just south of Algoma over into the Verona area right now. Even the city of Tupelo still seeing some pretty strong thunderstorm activity over toward Manatee and Ratliff. This storm, not a severe one right now, but still producing a lot of heavy rainfall and most likely plenty of cloud to ground lightning in your neighborhood with this one. And again, you're looking at that little bit of a circulation still going on right here over southern and southwestern sections of Lee County, southeastern sections of Pontotoc County. It's not tornadic, but it's there, and it's sailing off eastward at about 45 miles an hour or so, and that will take it right through the southern sections of Lee County here very shortly. And again, hopefully it will not strengthen. That'll keep us away from seeing anything in the ways of tornadic situation in for Lee County. Right now, again, nothing too outrageous currently there. And as we take another look at this, another vantage point, let me go ahead and trying to get back over here. There it is, reflectivity. Again, the storm producing a lot of rainfall, producing a lot of cloud to ground lightning, but winds are below 55 to 60 miles an hour now, most likely in category of about 35 to 50 miles an hour with this storm as it keeps moving off eastward. You can see, again, intense rainfall, Tupelo, intense rainfall right now, Verona area, and basically, again, Matt's got it set up so that I'm trying to switch the scenery over here, but it's like, yeah, that shows you that.
When I break.
Oh, I don't know how to. No, I don't know how to get on your, with your mouse over here. Let's see, we've got two different mouses.
Here, just move this. Just move this one. So what is it doing?
I'm just trying to get a wider look.
Oh, okay.
like,
Is it
so-
not? Oh, you gotta click down here. Click that.
Oh
one.
yes, there we go.
You're still on storm track. There
I
you
was
go.
on the storm track. Yeah.
No, you're good. You're
Okay.
good.
Well,
Go ahead. I'll trade you
okay,
places.
just-
I'm gonna check and
okay.
see what
Okay.
some of the people have sent in.
so looking at some of the other storms right here again. There you go. That makes it much easier. I was like, I can't get this thing to move over here. Okay, so we got to this storm that's a severe thunderstorm warning that's going on until 7:30. That's happening in the Grenada area right now, Gore Springs area. You're looking at folks like Duck Hill, seeing the activity just to your north. You're hearing a lot of noise, but it looks like this one, for the most part, is going to stay to the north of Duck Hill. Again, just got through with pretty heavy thunderstorm activity in the Glen Wild area and also the Grenada area. Again, this will be off roughly just a little south of due east at about most likely 40 miles an hour. So again, this is a strong severe thunderstorm, most likely producing winds in excess of 60 miles an hour right now. And let me just check and see if there's anything that stands out in the ways of, well, there is a, see that, Matt? There's a little bit of circulation right there, and just east of Glen Wild and just west of Gore Springs. This again, pretty weak, but still it's there. And if it moves off eastward, it'll be affecting most likely folks as you work your way over toward the Gore Springs area and looking at over there near Misterton. Also near Lilac, maybe a little bit of a circulation passing through your area that could become tornadic. It's not a tornado producing storm right now, but something that needs to be watched. And going back into the rain mode, you can see again the heaviest of rainfall right now just to the east and southeast of Grenada. This one again just producing a lot of heavy rain, a lot of cloud ground lightning, and winds most likely around 60 miles an hour or so. And again, that's why you've got severe thunderstorm warning for that one right there. But notice the ones that once upon a time were tornadic over North Mississippi. These not producing much now, more than gusty winds around 30, 40, maybe 50 miles an hour. And again, stretching all the way from northwest of Fulton. Fulton, you're about ready to get a pretty interesting event with this one right here. It's going to give you a lot of cloud to ground lightning, a lot of heavy rainfall, but hopefully nothing much more than that. And again, these storms extend back southwestward toward Halka. And as you work your way west southwestward from there, still some pretty heavy stuff in that portion right there. Get the city. There it is, Bruce. Gotta tell you, this the cameras, the monitors pretty far away. Couldn't read the Bruce area there. So again, you've got these storms passing through, not severe. That's good news. As we take a wider look, let me just point out a couple of things. Just take it a little away from our area. It has been a rough last couple hours in the Huntsville area. If you have any family in that area, look at all these storms. These once upon a time were in our area, passed through portions of North Mississippi here a couple hours ago and produced barely anything except for maybe some brief minor damage, some downed trees, power lines, and a couple of things like a steeple, right? Knocked down. I think Matt showed you all where Gabe was trying to fix a steeple. That was happening. And then there's a pretty good little thunderstorm now. Again, I've been talking about this one right here north of Hamilton in Alabama over toward the Hackleburg area there in the west of Phil Campbell. This one producing a lot of cloud to ground lightning, very heavy rainfall, but not severe, but mighty close to being a severe thunderstorm right there. It's moving off eastward. And again, that one right there, just to north of Hamilton. And then going back into our area again, you're looking at Ballardsville, Tupelo, Verona, Chihuahua, Troy. All of you got some pretty heavy rainfall and thunderstorm activity happening as we speak. But again, not as strong or severe as it was about roughly in the last hour ago when we saw these storms producing some worse than 30 to 40, 50 mile per hour winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. And again, possible tornadoes. But you can see right now, still a lot of heavy rain, a lot of cloud to ground lightning happening. All of this moving off eastward at about 45 miles an hour or so. And a wider look once again shows you that storm around Duck Hill and over just east of Grenada. And then you work your way farther south. These down around the Yazoo City area and Pickens area, those will be moving into southern sections of our viewing area. If you're watching us in the Kosciuszko area, if you're watching us in Louisville, you got still another little while before these move in, especially as you work your way toward Louisville. Those still maybe an hour and a half or so away with these right here still. Pretty much producing winds in excess of 60 miles an hour for the Yazoo City. Several little pockets. Let me just check and see if there's anything going on that says, oh, there might be a tornado or anything there. No, nothing stands out with those. Again, going back northward to the storms, such as the one near Duck Hill. Again, let me just take a little closer look at this one on Duck Hill. I had a little circulation there just a little while ago. It's still there. Still roughly east of Grenada, west of Gore Springs, there's a minor little circulation there, but not enough to produce a tornado warning for the folks there north of Camp McCain, there in that area. And as we take a look at the storms over northeast Mississippi, nothing stands out. Nothing really. No, we've seen nothing that really would be saying, hey, this is something really, really, really bad right now. That's good news. Good news is that we've got ourselves plenty of rainfall. That's about it. And some cloud to ground lightning, obviously, in pockets, pretty good pockets. And beyond that, maybe 30, 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts. Again, not a severe thunderstorm warning to be found in northeast Mississippi and even into northwest Alabama with that strong one that's right now in the Hamilton area and the Hackleburg area. That one right there, again, moving off eastward at about 45 miles an hour. But again, by far, the heaviest of storms and the most severe storms have been off to our east in the last couple hours. So even though overhead we've had some gusty winds, we've had some down trees and power lines like that. Looks like they've had a major tornado event in the Huntsville area. As a matter of fact, about an hour ago, they had a tornado emergency there in the Huntsville area. So all in all, very rough in that portion of the world over towards Scottsboro, Alabama. And I think those, are they still having tornado emergencies over there? I guess, or are they? No, no. So okay, so tornadoes confirmed, but not at least tornado emergency. But it was a tornado emergency there for a little while for the Huntsville area. I don't think these storms, Matt, they're really not making much of a stride to do anything really wild right now, right? I mean, I would say.
I would agree. I think we have to babysit a little longer to make
Sure,
that
sure. That's definitely, again, looking for any kind of circulation. Well, there's that bit down in southern Lee, but it's disorganized, kind of nothing, right? I don't think it looks like anything other than just disorganized stuff down. Nothing stands out.
Not, I mean, it's about the same as it's been the
Yeah.
last 20 minutes.
Yeah, nothing just stands out. Just little disorganized stuff. But again, things to watch are over southern Lee right now. That's once upon a time a circulation that was well about an hour and a half ago over toward the Water Valley area, and that since then it's kind of lost its punch. But once upon a time it was a pretty little stop circulation area as it was going through Yalobusha County. And again, this is mostly rain, mostly heavy rain, mostly a lot of cloud ground lightning again happening over a lot of our area right now. So if you're watching us in Fulton, you're about ready to get some pretty good rainfall there. Again, these thunderstorms in the Fulton area most likely giving you some 40, maybe 50 mile per hour winds. And again, plenty of rainfall, plenty of cloud ground lightning. And again, as you work your way west and southwestward over toward Old Union and good food, plenty of moderate to heavy rainfall, but nothing really. It's good they're kind of like, they're kind of more or less now a line that's got some waves to it, but it's not, they're not like individual storms. It's just like they're kind of sharing the energy over here. And that's good. It's not going to most likely allow anyone to hopefully blossom into anything tornadic or anything worse than that, worse than like a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado producing storm. Bruce, right now, seeing some pretty heavy rainfall. Nothing stands out. Barely any thing. Doesn't look like anything in the Bruce area to stand out. That thing right still, there's a little notch there in good food area. There's that one area over southern Lee that's been kind of holding on. I'm just gonna check and see what it looks like. Yeah, there it is, right there around Shannon area, whatever that is. It's not a tornado, but it's a little bit of circulation that's still trying. It hasn't given up, and we'll certainly watch it as it moves through our area here for the next little while. And again, that's about the only one that I can see standing out right in that batch over there. Let's see. Just check and see the Alabama one. Alabama, just a pocket of a lot of cloud ground lightning and stuff like that, but stands out with the Alabama one. Just check this one over here again. Grenada, yes, there's a little, they're now near Gore Springs. You can see that little circulation there, nothing tornadic, just a little bit of a circulation near Gore Springs right now. That needs to be watched as it moves off eastward toward the Gore Springs area and areas adjacent as you work your way eastward into east of Gore Springs, and north of Misterton and north of Reading, right there. Now you just go back into the mode where it shows you the rainfall. Again, you can see the heavy rainfall. You can see where that little bit of a notch happening right there north of Misterton and east of Gore Springs. That's kind of the that notch right there needs to be watched also with everything kind of matching up in the same place, more or less. It looks like the circulation showing a little farther west from where that little notch is, but still something that needs to be watched down in that portion of that storm right there. Severe thunderstorm warning until 7:30. Let me go back to the rain mode and well, let's see. This activity around Shannon and Brewer area right now, if there was anything that would try to do something or come close to it in the immediate future, it's right there around the Brewer area and the Shannon area and south of Verona. A lot of heavy rain, the hail most likely right in through here if there's any hail with this one right now, north of the Brewer area. And again, this little notch right there, that's most likely a little tiny bit of circulation happening. Let me just go back over here to the circulation mode. Yeah, there you go. It's right about in there, but it's kind of a mishmash of stuff. It's not like standing out, like saying, oh yeah, I'm there and I'm going to produce something. No, it's not that danger level at all. Show you folks that are in good shape, north and west of Tupelo. Look at this. Everybody, there's barely anything now except for a few showers. So if you're worried about the rest of the evening, I think if you're roughly from Boonville to Guntown to Tupelo to Pontotoc over toward Coffeyville and Water Valley, everything's in good shape for the rest of the evening, I do believe. I don't think we're going to have any kind of development. No indications are, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
nothing behind it.
Yeah, nothing behind this. So that's but if you're south and east of that line, south and east of the area, again, roughly from Florence to Tupelo to Coffeyville to Grenada, everything's in good shape. If you're south and east of that line, yeah, you still got some pockets of thunderstorms out there. Not as bad again as the folks over to our north and east. My goodness, these storms really blossomed as they went off east and northeastward into portions of northern Alabama, northeastern Alabama, as a matter of fact. It is again still producing a lot of tornadoes in that portion of the world. And again, these storms over northwest Alabama, still that one near Hackleburg, are producing plenty of cloud to ground lightning, very intense rainfall, most likely 30, 40, maybe even 50 mile per hour winds. South of Phil Campbell, Bear Creek area. That one right there, again, a very intense thunderstorm, moving off pretty much in the same fashion, east, northeastward. Just checking to see what the Memphis area folks are saying. So again, from Red Bay, you've already get some heavy rainfall again. This one will move into your area from Fairview School and Moores Mill to Fulton now. Again, some very heavy rainfall. Beans Ferry getting heavy rainfall. Ballardsville, Verona, very good pocket of lightning again over southern sections of Lee County. You're not getting much in ways of big time. There's some lightning, but not too much as you work your way north and east to the Fulton area with the thunderstorm activity up toward Fairview School. But that pocket, a very intense batch of lightning, where the strongest part of the storm basically is, or that whole complex is around Shannon and over toward the Verona area north of Denelton and north of Leotis right there. And then you got this next one from Gershorn over toward Reed and over toward the Bruce area. Not too outrageous, just some very heavy rainfall, some lightning, but not much in the way of lightning. And again, the farthest southwest storm in our area, at least for now, Duck Hill and over toward Winona. And then there's the activity that's about ready to move into portions of our southern viewing area. That will be interesting here if this does stay together. You've got some tornado warnings going on around the Yazoo City area. Let me just take a look at this, Yazoo City. And let's see. Nothing stands out. There is a tornado warning. Yeah, there's a couple of little pockets. There's some activity again from Yazoo City, little pockets, a couple of these right there as you work your way westward toward more or less you're looking at Bayland, Campbellville, Cary, those little pockets right there, that one right there on the Cary area. That's most likely what's prompting that tornado warning. And if that does stay together, it will clip maybe southern sections of Oregon here. It's going to be a close call, but I would say southern sections of Itala County and into maybe southern sections of Winston County could be affected. Most likely will be just adjacent to us down toward Carthage and Philadelphia with those down there. I go back into the rainfall mode and you can see more activity extends west southwestward toward Lake Providence and northeastern sections of Louisiana. That again most likely will stay off to our south and east. But again, these might reach into southern sections of our area. Right now, the leading edge, which is not part of the severe weather, is into southern sections of Itala County, just southwest of Kosciuszko. So again, that's that one right there. So as we work our way from back farther north, again, you can see the storms around the Shannon area, very intense thunderstorm activity. And as we work our way toward Fulton, still some pretty heavy rainfall there. But again, nothing that stands out. If there's anything, again, it's around Nettleton, Shannon area. That's the zone right there where we're watching where these storms do something, but they're not. Let's see. Anything. Nothing that stands out. Even the circulation over southern sections of Lee County, that's all but gone, Matt. I don't see that. I don't see nothing there. Yeah, yeah. But there's pretty intense rain at west of Evergreen right now, Richmond area, Brewer area, seeing some very intense rainfall. A lot of cloud ground lightning. You're going to hear a lot of noise with this one. This one again, that's all it's doing now is noise and maybe gusty winds 30 to 45, maybe 50 miles an hour, if that much. And some hail. I would not be surprised. There's the pockets of hail most likely from Richmond back southwestward over toward the Brewer area. Another pocket most likely toward the old Union area. Tupelo right now, a lot of rain on the south side, lesser rain as you work your way northward. North side barely any rainfall now. And again, this is all but gone for the south side too. So if you're worried, everything's okay for Tupelo area. As we work our way into the Beans Ferry area, Fulton area, Clay area, some pretty heavy rainfall in that portion of our area. Tremont, you're about ready to get some very heavy rainfall, but it doesn't look like it. This one's intensifying. It's staying just stout. And the same thing goes for Red Bay. You're about ready to get some moderate to heavy rain, but doesn't stand out to being anything too outrageous. Still watching that one there, Bear Creek. That's still a pretty stout little thunderstorm near Bear Creek. It doesn't look like it's outrageous, but it's a stout little thunderstorm. No, nothing churning away in that one. Let's see. But again, you're getting plenty of heavy rainfall, a lot of cloud to ground lightning, Haleyville, Bear Creek area. So if you're watching us there in Haleyville, Bear Creek area, again, pretty heavy stuff. But again, working our way westward from Red Bay to Tremont to Beans Ferry to Evergreen, all these folks seeing some very heavy rainfall. That pockets again south of Verona has considerably weakened compared to where it was about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. And again, still another pretty good little thunderstorm complex northwest of Hulka. Hulka, you're about ready to get some heavy rainfall and plenty of cloud to ground lightning, but not outrageous, not compared to as outrageous as what southern Lee County is getting right now. But still, and again, a storm in the Grenada area now. They've taken away. It's not a severe thunderstorm anymore. Just a lot of heavy rainfall, gusty winds, 30, maybe 40, 50 miles an hour, if that much even. It's certainly compared to where it was just a while ago, it has lost a lot of its punch. Let's see. Southern Tala County. That's That one right there is intensified. Yeah, Goodman near Bolotusha. That's the one that's, you got this severe thunderstorm warning now. That's just been prompted until 8:30 for southern Atala County. That will include Bolotusha. You're looking at Patterson, Barnes. That's just outside of our area, but we know some folks down in the Barnes area. That one right there, that's separate from the one that's in Yazoo City right now and over toward Campbellville where there's a possible tornado. Let me just take a look and see what we got here. One that if it does affect. Yeah, you can see right there southwest of Campbellville, there is a little bit of a circulation there. That's moving off eastward. Again, most likely will be just outside of our area, but it will be close enough that it could clip southern sections of Talbot County also with that tornado warning. So going back to Talbot County, again, that thunderstorm right there, that's intensifying over southern sections of Talbot County. The severe thunderstorm warning going on until 8:30, so a good hour for that. Still most likely be affecting southern Talbot County into southern sections of Winston County, most likely if it stays together. So if you're watching us in Noxapater, Nanaoya, over toward the Alice area, you've got still in about 45 minutes or so, to about an hour, you'll be getting some pretty heavy thunderstorm activity there. Let's see. Anybody, if you're watching from the Golden Triangle area, so far so good. You may just, if you get lucky, you may just miss out. I'm not gonna say you're gonna be lucky, but if nothing develops between Slate Springs and down toward Atala County, you may just get lucky. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but right now, not much really going to be affecting the Golden Triangle area. Maybe that thunderstorm in Slate Springs will affect West Point area and the areas down the line, Aberdeen area. But Columbus and Starkville and adjacent areas may be, unless something develops. We'll certainly be watching a little gap there between Winona and Vaden, but the energy is not so energized, the atmosphere not so energized down here to the point where it's maybe we're going to produce something now that we got sunset happening and we're losing the heating of the day. We'll see if we're lucky. Right? Don't you think they're pretty lucky right now? Yeah. They're so far south. Yeah, so far south that the folks don't need to worry about as much in the way of thunderstorm activity. But again, the things could most likely blossom as we go through the evening hours overhead or off to your west. So you need to watch out for still in the next several hours until all of this is out off to our east. Here by 10, 11, 12 o'clock should be off to our east most likely. As we work our way southward, most likely 12 o'clock. Southern sections of Noxubee County and those areas, and Aliceville area, maybe 10, 11, 12 also again. Yeah, Aliceville, those areas watching out for those storms over and south of Durant. Those are going to be affecting most likely folks in Noxapater and eventually if it stays together, watching us in Sugarlock and areas over towards southern Pickens County. Now, that's being said, this one right here, possible tornado happening over in I mean, only radar indicated, right? I don't think it's showing up as anything about in southern. Well, it's just outside of our area. That one's just radar indicated. Oh, okay. So they did. All righty. Let's go back up north. So that's there. You go. Yeah. Yeah, the radar indicated down there for the tornado. And again, back to severe thunderstorm warning with this storm that's going through southern sections of Lee County now. Again, Nettleton area. Let me just see again if there's anything. Nothing stands out in ways of any kind of a circulation, but it's most likely just a lot of gusty winds in excess of 60 miles an hour or so, and some pretty good hail happening. Most likely, I'm just checking to see. Okay, so it's the hail's main reason. Checking with National Weather Service. 1.25-inch hail and 60 mile per hour wind. So again, yeah, hail being mainly, and nothing this at least indicated to be tornadic. For once upon a time, possible tornado trying to produce thunderstorms. Now that it's ramped up again, we're looking at again intense rainfall and hail most likely over just north of Nettleton city limits over toward the Evergreen area and about ready to move into the Cardsville area here in the next 15-30 minutes. New Salem, we've got that activity down the line for you, and Beans Ferry. Just track this off. It's the heaviest part right here. This moves off eastward over the next 20 minutes or so. In the cities that will be affected, you're looking at Evergreen around 7:45. You're looking at New Salem around 7:55, and Turon around 7:58 for the heaviest of rainfall, maybe gusty winds up around 60 miles an hour or so, and some most likely quarter to golf ball sized hail out of this. Again, I remembered F12. I did not know F12. I said I remembered F12. Yeah, I did not know about F12. Again, good food. Got some intense rainfall. Gershorn. You got some intense rainfall right now north of Holcomb. Again, Buckhorn, just southeast of you, some very intense rainfall. But this one, not a severe thunderstorm. It's just a strong thunderstorm moving through there. So again, southerly into northern sections of Monroe County and also southern sections of Itawamba County. Severe thunderstorm warning going on until 8:30. Check that storm into West Alabama, see what that's doing. Just about outside of our area. It's into Haleyville now, east of Bear Creek. Not a severe thunderstorm, but mighty strong little thunderstorm. Moving over toward Ash Ridge and Grayson very shortly. We'll go down here to that storm down in southern sections of Itala County. Let's track that as we can see where it's going to be moving over the next 15 to 30 minutes. There again, there, Bolatusha, and just northwest of Thomastown, that area, that storm moving off again eastward, and following cities will be affected most likely by that severe thunderstorm. You're looking at Dowell around 7:52, farther down the line, Gray at 8 o'clock, Renfro at 8:07, and Remus around 8:14. Again, you're looking at some pretty good winds around 60 miles an hour and some hail around quarter to maybe golf ball sized hail with that one right there as it moves through that portion of our area. And again, adjacent areas just outside of our viewing area. And let's go back over here to the storm that's producing a possible tornado for your neighbors out to the west of that area. And this one again, it's going to skirt through, I think, maybe southern sections of our area. Also, it's going to be most likely, if you're watching this in Kosciuszko and areas adjacent, if this one's moving off eastward the way things are going, and we just put a track on this one. So you notice it does try to clip into southern sections of our area. You're looking at Bolatusha, roughly around 8:18 or so. You're looking at Camden around 8:30. So again, getting close, almost following on the doorstep of the storm that's producing a severe thunderstorm warning storm right there and around the Bolatusha area right now. So this one on your doorstep, again, possibly producing some tornadic activity there in around the Yazoo City area right now. See what this is. Well, let's take a wider look again. Back up to the storm over southern sections of Lee County. And again, the heaviest of thunderstorm activity now has moved into southeastern sections of Lee County, at least with that severe thunderstorm right there. There's another thunderstorm on the doorstep about ready to move into southwestern sections of Lee County, but that one that's coming in from Good Food and adjacent areas is not a severe thunderstorm. It looks pretty stout. It's going to give you some gusty winds, but So it'll be a secondary storm that will be passing through the Shannon area and Leonis area, just like this one that just passed through, but a little bit weaker. Some pretty good cloud to ground lightning still also with that one. But the strong to severe thunderstorm is still moving through portions of southeastern Lee County and over toward the Evergreen area, Abney area, and over toward the Cardsville area. This one will keep trekking off eastward at about 45 to about maybe 50 miles an hour or so, and should be pretty much in the next hour into western section of Alabama, or more or less in the next 45 minutes to an hour, moving into western Alabama. So if you're watching us over toward Hamilton and Fulton Bridge and Henson Springs, this one will move your way pretty shortly. Hopefully it doesn't get anything past the severe level that it has right now. The gusty winds of around 60 miles an hour in the quarter-sized hail or so, or maybe up to golf ball sized hail, and see if there's anything that stands out. No, no circulation. So tornadic wise, we don't have to right now worry about too much of anything with that one. Just some gusty winds, plenty of cloud to ground lightning. Even the cloud to ground lightning and the lightning itself is not as intense as it was about 15, 20 minutes ago. So hopefully that's a sign that this may be weakening a little bit. Go farther east over toward the Franklin County area, northwestern sections of Marion County. Yeah, that thunderstorm around Dempsey still pretty stout. Over toward Vina, a little bit of a notch there. That's trying to do something, possibly. Hopefully nothing too intense in there. Shotsville, pretty heavy thunderstorm activity. So again, this is again moving off eastward at about 45 miles an hour. So let me see if there's anything that stands out in this one. No, it's just like some gusty winds out of that one, maybe 30 to 50 miles an hour right now, moving toward the Hodges areas or Nix Mill. Let me just track that one. We tracked a severe thunderstorm warned area. Let's track this one through northwest sections of Alabama and see who will be affected by this one. All right, so here are the cities over the next 20 minutes or so that will be affected most likely by some pretty heavy rainfall, cloud to ground lightning. Notice Hodges at around roughly 7:58, Rockwood roughly at 8:02, and Gravel Hill roughly at 8:06, Liberty Hill at 8:08, and Pig Eye at 7:57. So please be careful in that one right there. Let me go back over here. The severe thunderstorm warning again for southeastern Lee County right now where the storm is at and into Itawamba County. Most of this will sail right along the Lee County, Monroe County line. Smithville most likely will get the southern fringes of this one here in about 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes or so. Again, this one that's west of Leotis right now over toward the Hulka area, not showing any signs of strengthening, just a pretty moderate to heavy thunderstorm. There's a little thunderstorm once upon a time, severe thunderstorm now still going through the Slate Springs area and Cardetta area. Let me just track this one off as it heads off eastward. Will be affecting the following cities over the next half hour or so. You're looking at Monte Vista around 7:58 and Fame around 8:06. Seeing some pretty good cloud to ground lightning, some pretty good moderate to heavy rainfall. Doesn't stand out anything as bad as it was about a half hour to about an hour ago when it was producing some pretty good hail and strong and gusty winds through portions of the Grenada area. So, let's see. There's also that one little storm east of Duck Hill, barely hanging on. This one's lost a lot of its punch. This one, again, moving off eastward also towards Sweatman and Alva, northeast of Eckridge. And let's see what else we got standing out. Okay, let's see. The one that's that's got the tornado warned storm that's just outside of our area. that may clip southern sections of Atala County here in the next little while. Most likely the circulation will stay just off to our south. We'll see. It's still about another 15, 30 minutes before circulation moves into at least adjacent to our area. Let me just see if there's, yeah, there's something standing out right there. You've got, it's out just outside of our area, but you can see definitely that is pretty little stout little circulation going on. It's just southeast of Campbellville and Limerick. So if you have any folks or family that are just outside of our area, just southwest of Yazoo City, that's why we got some tornado warning going on there until 8:30 because of that circulation right there. Let's see.
You know,
What was that?
stuff up by highways. Obviously, on that. But you look at precept, might be more obvious. Right.
Yeah, the little notch. That is a little notch. That was there a little while ago, and still. Let me see. Yeah, there's a little bit. Yeah, and it shows you can see that just southeast of Atwood right there. There's something trying right there, and it's it's not a severe thunderstorm warning. I mean, right now even, but something that needs to be watched. If you're watching us northwest of Pig Eye, over toward the Atwood area, and east of Vina, that's trying. It's something that's there, but it's again intense rainfall right now, maybe 30 to 50 mile per hour winds, and again. This thunderstorm, let me go back into the precipitation mode. You can see plenty of that little pocket of lightning there too is a kind of adjacent right to where that little everything's happening. Notice that, Matt? It's all together in one little spot. So it's like that's the intense spot right there. That could be interesting here in the next if it keeps on intensifying. Yeah, that would not. Hopefully outside of our area, not to wish bad luck on anybody, but hopefully outside of our area, but we'll be watching it until it gets out of our area. But that's been almost the story today. I mean, a lot have really intensified big time as they've gone eastward. There's the mess of stuff all the way into portions of northern and northeastern sections of Alabama and into northwest Georgia now. Some very intense thunderstorms, some of which have done some major damage in that area. However, here we've had several pockets throughout the day, and a couple ones from earlier today up in Pickwick Landing and up in that area, and also another one that followed and eventually became a tornadic storm big time in the Huntsville area this afternoon. That one followed again, the one from earlier today around Pickwick. And these right here, just trying to do something. Again, the one there's in Leotis near Old Union and Good Food, trying, but not much, making much of a stride right now. Cardsville, northwest of Smithville. You'll be getting some pretty intense rain just to the north of Smithville. It's going to pass right, the main heavy rain will pass right to the north of, well, most likely it's clip Smithville. But folks, if you're watching some big B here or miss out on this one, Smithville, you're going to get the southern fringes of the one that's just off to your north for a little while in time. Carolina community, getting some very heavy rainfall right now. Cards.
North of the city storm chaser, so minor branches down on road on Highway 6, on the road 6 miles northeast.
Okay.
Tree down the corner of Evergreen Road, Master.
That's from this one right here, most likely that just passed through the Carolina community. So that one right there passed through the Nettleton area here. Just to I see that they've just now the severe thunderstorm warning has been canceled for southern Lee. Still continues for northern sections of Monroe County and southern sections of Itawamba County. That severe thunderstorm warning still going on until 8:30. That storm right there again has caused a little bit of wind damage over southern sections of Lee County, still moving off eastward. at about 40, 45 miles an hour. This activity near, I think they just went severe thunderstorm warning. Yeah, it did go. We were talking about it. They just went severe thunderstorm warning with the one near Hodges, that little notch there. Let's see if that's intensifying. Let's see. I think it's false data around Hodges, southeast of Hodges. So, it is interesting, that little notch. If anything, something's trying there. We'll see how. Little, yeah, it's there's the update right there. Still kind of a little bit of an S shape right there, north of Pig Eye, Hodges area. And if there's anything that's going to try to do something, most likely just north of Hodges and west of Duketon right there, and south of Old Nauvoo. Yeah, a little bit of a notch there. Something that we need to watch. And I don't think it's just a regular severe thunderstorm warning. It's not a no tornado possible. Well, not, it doesn't say tornado possible. Just I see the National Weather Service. I'm talking about those little kinks in the kinks. They're watching. Yeah, they're Birmingham. They're talking about they're watching these. Oh yeah, they're watching little kinks in the armor or the storms down into. Let's see what are they watching? Let's see.
That's what they're watching.
Okay, they're watching that up there. Okay. That's going rate safe.
Birmingham holding on for the sphere.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime you get these little kinks, always little kinks in the line. That one, but man, that does stand out. It's like I've heard you talk about the S shape right there, and that is a pretty darn good S shape. Yeah. Let's see the one in. Oh, where's that? There's something trying on this. Academy, I thought. Well, but that little notch that does near Turon, in northeast of Smithville, that's still that same old, I think, that started off near Water Valley. It's kind of, it never has really diffused itself, kind of. It tries.
I mean, it's just in the right spot.
Yeah, keeps on going. Just keeps on going. Let's see if there's still a little minor stuff right there. Nothing. Let's see. That storm now, that was in Haleyville, that's well off our east now. Still a severe thunderstorm for that. Actually, that severe thunderstorm warning is due to one near Hodges. Okay, so I thought it was due to that one. No, I think it's just the extension of the Hodges one by way into farther into outside of our area. So again, Smithville, you're about ready to get some very intense heavy rainfall. That's about it, hopefully. Maybe some brief gusty winds, 50, 60 miles an hour, so please be aware of this one. Again, severe thunderstorm warning going on until 8:30. Turon, you're about ready to get some gusty winds, 50, 60 miles an hour. Some hail, a quarter dime size hail. Are we getting any reports of anything beyond?
We got that.
Yeah, beyond the southern
We
lake?
got that wind report that we would have.
Okay. Southern Lake County.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, there's.
So stout severe thunderstorm. So it's going to be pretty. If it's obviously produce some stuff near Nettleton, it's possibly going to be doing some damage briefly around the Smithville area, if not just a little farther north. So definitely intense rainfall. Lightning has really not as intense as it was about half hour ago. It's lost a lot of its lightning punch. Still, we're getting some pretty good thunderstorm activity, thunder, lightning. There's one near Shannon right now. There's some moderate to heavy rainfall. Hopefully not reach anything severe. Doesn't look outrageous. It looks like as you work your way westward on it, it's kind of a lesser intensity of rainfall. Let's go back down to that storm complex down in southern sections of Atala County. Southern Atala County still getting some very heavy rainfall around McVille, east of Balatusha, stretching a little farther south out into portions of areas just south of Atala County. You're looking at Poca and Coosa, those areas probably seeing some heavy rainfall soon. And then there's well, they took away the tornado warning for one near Yazoo City. Still a severe thunderstorm warning going on for that one.
That's going western, I don't think.
Uh,
Had landing one notch on it. It's behind
the front itself,
behind the outlook.
okay.
Yeah, like just right on the
That's run right there, just west of Nettleton. Yeah, I see what you're talking about, that little thing near County Road 506.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see if there's anything shows up. So a little bit of a notch there.
I think it's behind the outflow. What that means.
Yeah, hopefully. Carolina community, still some moderate rain, nothing. Again, Smithville, you're getting some heavy rainfall right now, most likely for another 10 minutes or so, and then things get better. New Salem, Turon, you're going to get the intense rainfall and some pretty good cloud-to-ground lightning. You're already hearing noise off to your west. It's about ready to move into your town. Academy, same thing. You've got some heavy rainfall right now, and maybe some cloud-to-ground lightning, but let's see. Bam. Little notch there, but I'm not sure that's around the Hamilton area. That's maybe just. What do you think about this little thing in Hamilton area? That's yeah. Yeah. Go back up here to this one up here. Okay.
So this is a shot here. I'll trade you for a
All
minute.
right.
From the North Mississippi storm chasers on that storm that's near the Shannon area. And see if I can pop it up. So let's see here. This is the one near Shannon, that little one that's kind of back behind there. I say Shannon near Nettleton probably now. It looks a little bit like a funnel cloud, according to different storm a little earlier. Let's look at another blurry shot of it. And I got a couple different storms we're looking at there. But the littlest of kind of sort of a funnel cloud out of that one from Josh with North Mississippi Storm Chasers. Hold on. I mean, you just sent another one here real quick. I'm gonna okay, hold on.
That's around that thing's north of Nettleton and then notch there.
Send that to the weather service. ... Actually send the progression, period. If you could, please, period.
Where was that on? Where was that on?
That's on this storm near Nettleton. Oh, it's Storm Chaser chat. If you want to dump a couple of those into the Google chat, please, thank you. So that is right after we're saying that that's behind the outflow, which means I don't know that it gets at the ground. That's just kind of an interesting look for sure. So again, that would be that little notch that you see right there. That's what that is. let's double check here. And where exactly are you and where exactly are you looking, question mark? I want to just verify that, period. And that's even the Storm Chaser's camera down there in Amory kind of looking toward that. Again, this is not an Amory issue, but this is, a viewpoint there, kind of looking into it. I mean, I kind of see what sort of is like a wall cloud slash was briefly maybe a little funnel there. Not well organized, not rapidly rotating, not going to probably produce anything. But man, it was an odd looking little thing. So let's talk overall here for a moment. So I don't know that we're going to fill this in here in between. Hopefully we don't. And then that would mean that, a lot of these folks, West Point, Starkville, Columbus, maybe Louisville, Macon, all kind of miss out. We'll see. This has not been very worked over. And this boundary, that's kind of been the focal point for all the storms today, is kind of slipping southward a little bit, south of Amory and Houston there. So that zone that's kind of in between there, hopefully we're going to miss out on this. Not that anybody's really missing, but you know what I mean. Checking out Hamilton over here.
Well, let's say it's Highway 8 heading to Houston.
Where?
It says Josh says it's Highway 8 heading for Houston. We're close to the engine. 47.
He's way down there. I guess so. Hold on. We move here. Maybe zoomed way in.
That's looking up toward the hill.
That would be looking, yeah, from the south all the way into that there. Huh. What's interesting, now that I start looking at it, you know what that is? That's what's kind of left of like an LP supercell almost near Manti. I'll bet those are some pretty looking storms.
Still want to get centered on over.
No. We'll let the storm chasers do it. Due north. Okay. So his GPS says Treblock looking due north. It's 47, right? Be in the very back part of that there. Might not even be the same spot we're talking about. At the time, got it. That's the difference. At the time versus right now. A new warning come out for northern Lamar and southern Marion County for kind of a wind and broad rotation related to this. And this has been kind of have broad rotation for hours, but yeah, I'm just not convinced that's gonna get over the hump. Hopefully it doesn't. I'd say some hail potential out of that as well. Let's get a storm track eastward. That's kind of the direction that's going. Okay, hail in Turon, the report there. Let's reply back to Cheryl there. Okay. So let's talk about, see if we can clear some more folks from here. So let's do, it's too early to go to sleep. Let's watch The Voice. Is that what we need to put on? Is that, is that the, is that, we don't go to sleep right now. We watch The Voice. Um, Everything kind of back here. But done. Leave that up. So obviously we're watching locations. So it's just one. So let me get out of the way. So it says done. But everything east of this, there's still some questions. Now, you're not done, Golden Triangle, but I'm unimpressed by what I'm seeing there. And odds are pretty good that you're done. But we're still kind of waiting on the boundary to kick through. So I won't say that we're zero on those odds yet, but things are definitely looking better for you. We mentioned this, referenced these a little bit ago. Lakin and Ingomar sending in these pictures of some of the damage over there. John, you got the wrong mouse. There. It's okay. Some tree damage in the Ingomar area related to some of the thunderstorms that went through there a little bit ago. Appreciate Lakin for sharing those using the email WTVA weather app. It kind of both sends them in similar way there. Appreciate Lakin. And then take that down. We'll show you another one. This one was that damage that was on the corner of Dorsey Evergreen Road and McMaster Road there, sent in by Michael with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers when he was kind of in that area. And so some of the damage you can see right there, shown up with that tree across the road that you see there. So some sporadic tree damage. That is the storm that we are watching here that is now about to cross the Alabama state line, is the one that we've been watching there. So let's clear this out. Of course, I just showed you that. Let's show you locations that we are still watching. Again, while there's some broad rotation of these, the tornado potential is not impressive. I'm going to watch up here east of Turon for a moment. I say that because you can kind of see how there's some kind of a feature there, green feature kind of pushing up there that tried to maybe enhance rotation just a little bit for a moment. I mean, we're close enough to radar. We'd have a great view if it was going to do something. And that's not doing enough. That's probably still just gusty wind, maybe some hail. The main impact still with that there. Lightning count on it. If you include that stuff out toward Hackleburg, is more significant, right? This is where the majority of those lightning strikes are. Just this one down here, we show about 43 over the last 10 minutes. Not zero, still enough to qualify as severe, but not as impressive as some other locations and the other times that we have kind of seen those sorts of things. Let me check back and get back to the Storm Chaser chat. I'm basically just trying to kind of dip back and forth. Ashton, let's see where Ashton is. I need to go to weather 3 for that. And I don't know that. Just a moment. Okay, so Ashton is. Okay, so Timothy and Adrian are basically Calhoun City. Let's see here. Ashton's back toward Batesville, East was at the last update, 2349 UTC. Okay, that's been a while ago, so I'm gonna guess that that's probably about the location where he had kind of whatever he had. Earlier. Let's kind of show that video for you as we're just kind of still watching and monitoring things. And luckily, the worst of it, someone was asking, is it past Smithville? There's one that we're watching just kind of back west of you right now. It's the one that kind of had that little finger funnel a little bit ago. It would be a long shot for any of these to produce tornadoes at this point here. It's not impossible, but the atmosphere is struggling on at least that one. There's a little bit of an interaction to the east going on pretty much right at the Mississippi-Alabama state line. But honestly, because it's front to back here like that, it's more likely to be a downburst sort of situation versus rotation, meaning the air kind of going out as opposed to kind of circling around it. Pretty impressive shot of some of the storms a little earlier on. Ashton with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. I believe this is close to I-55 when that storm came through there closer to Batesville earlier on. And we'll see him pan back here in a second as he's just kind of watching the leading edge of that. So we had some very visually interesting thunderstorms for sure. We a lot of times call that scud, though that would be the part where we might have had some kind of interaction. But kind of a cool shot for sure. Appreciate both he and all the storm chasers for all the work that they did today, that they do all these days, taking time away from families and jobs and things like that to keep people safe. It's a service that they do, and we're very blessed to be able to partner with them. Haven't said Vernon very often today or anything in Lamar County, really. Still watching the northern part of the county, of course, for that storm coming through right now north of Detroit, or at least near Detroit, and moving there closer to Hamilton. These storms are kind of popping up near Heiteke and Vernon are south of the boundary. You can see how there's this kind of boundary here. It's heading southward. That's still, if we get a storm to attach to that, which is what I think a lot of the thunderstorms did earlier today, that's what kind of enhances some of their rotation. So still not an impossibility to get something there. That's why we're still kind of watching things as of 8:19. Let's look at some model projections, shall we? And see if we get one here that we feel like we agree with. Okay, so this one's not bad. Again, obviously models are always lower resolution than radar. I got a lot of roads on there, so it's going to be kind of hard to see through what I'm trying to show, but we'll play pretend here for a moment. What I'm looking at, obviously, a lot of this is stabilized, seeing if it, we develop anything else. No, this does not really fill in the gap there between Solitude. It shows Starkville, but really it's south of there, as you saw. So we don't fill in the gap, at least not based on this projection. I don't know why my cape is not updating here. Latest run. I don't know whether we had some kind of data issue when we took that power hit. Oh well. Either way, it does not really fill in that gap. So that's a good sign that hopefully once we get this out of here, we're done. Which was kind of what we expected, largely a one and done situation for most locations. That earlier batch of storms kind of made it a multi-round event for locations up in Tishomingo County. They're going to let that Itawamba Monroe County warning expire. They're going to expire it as of 8:30. So she checked. I'm going to tag Gabe Maynor in. Do we want to tag Gabe Maynor in to do some just monitoring for the moment? You take Mike D, I guess, if you do.
Okay.
Do you want to tag in for a little bit?
Okay.
Are you packing your thing or?
Packaging?
Yeah, I didn't know if you were.
No, it's not. It wasn't.
Well, tell me a little bit. Like, put on a microphone and tell me a little bit about what you saw here in a minute.
Mine D.
Yeah, D is in dog, I think. Right? D is in dog.
D is the start of dog.
Well, I'm checking with her, not you.
You're checking if D is the start of the word. Like Matt, you have been on here too long.
Uh, Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so I mean, Evergreen, Nettleton, you're kind of past it back here. Still watching Cardsville, Smithville. Once this storm is through, you're done. Hey, Gabe, your mic is on, and I'm gonna kind of rewind things here a little bit because, um, obviously we had fairly active afternoon with these storms around, and you traced one of these thunderstorms a good long while. That's for sure, right?
It was a journey, for sure. I mean,
Okay.
you talk about that boundary and kept mentioning it. It was from northern Pontotoc, southern Union County, all the way up to between Tishomingo and Iuka.
I mean, just the entire way, just sat right on the boundary.
Yep.
And it's same boundary that had the tornado producing thunderstorm. You might have missed it. That storm that you were on earlier goes on to, you know, move south of Florence and then, prompt a tornado emergency once it gets out here, closer to Huntsville.
Mm.
So exact same thunderstorm you were on, it just, in this case, it might still, let's check it here.
Confirmed. So
And it still has tornado warning on it all the way out there into North Georgia. And that's what developed in Lafayette County and some of the other thunderstorms there. Yeah, I mean, still tornado confirmed. North Alabama's really got it today, for sure. So come on over here and tell us a little bit about your day and what you saw and what you did that was kind of interesting.
I mean, it
And I'll have you
was.
go to the other side of the key.
Do what?
I was going to
Oh,
have you,
over there.
yeah,
I
over
thought you
there.
were trying to do.
I know, just so we can have that up. I'll see if I can pull up some of the pictures. But go ahead.
Yeah, do you want to focus more on the Prentice County steeple?
I mean, we can get to that here in a second, but just kind of some of what you saw.
Yeah, so basically we hopped on Highway 30 over there towards where would that have been? Northern Pontotoc, Southern Union County. I mean, it was basically right there. We hopped on 30 once we got up to New Albany, and then basically traced that all the way to Booneville, and then took a pit stop in Booneville and went and looked at what the skies were looking like. And you know how people say like they see the greens and the stuff in the sky and show it just looks like a tornado is about to happen. Basically, that was happening whenever we were in Booneville. So
Okay, I have to be honest. Every time people say I saw the green, I'm like, and maybe I've always questioned the green thing. If I'm honest, if I'm being
I'll
honest.
say more of a teal. It's a greenish blue.
Okay, I can see
And
that.
but like, do you know why? You know what happens?
Yeah.
Because the hail up in the atmosphere, and that just shows like whenever we talk about updrafts with tornadoes and updrafts with hail, how they're both similar. We look for the same thing. It's because they are the same thing in regards to their requirements, but it's a matter of what's happening on the ground.
Mhm.
That's the difference. So yeah, you saw some of those greens happening in Booneville, and then we kept going up 30 to 364 until we got. I didn't go all the way to Tishomingo. I went over to the east side of Prentice County. That's where I got on 365, and I saw that there was a tree down, but it was like you saw the big wind event move through,
Mm-hmm.
but it did not look tornadic. It was not a single path. It was a wider path of what looked like wind damage, but not extreme wind damage to the point where it's like roofs being ripped up and
So
trees
more
knocked down.
likely RFD damage.
Yes, yeah. And I told you that whenever I was on the phone with you.
Rear
going
flank
at
downdraft,
45.
that's the hook.
Yes.
Damage from the hook.
And you got an inflow. You got an inflow whenever you were in Booneville, and to the point where I couldn't even open the door.
Well, you were right there.
Well, and
The
then
vacuum was overhead.
I've learned that T-Mobile does not have the best service in this portion of the state. So,
In this portion of the
yeah,
state, or just this
Mississippi,
portion?
Mississippi altogether. I
It
was trying to
depends.
give
I
him
mean,
some
and
credit.
listen, like there are some spots out there where there's only maybe one provider that has good service, so that's
Well, if any of them know the provider, please let us know because I
it
need to swap
varies.
cell
The
service.
location varies.
Well, so yeah, whenever we got to 364, we helped I think it was right there. A deputy was pulling by, and I honestly thought I was getting pulled over for doing an illegal U-turn to go move the tree. But I told him, I was like, I apologize. And since we helped out, I guess good juju.
So you did an illegal U-turn to go help move the tree?
Yeah, so illegal for a good deed, I guess, counteracts.
I mean, it's not like anybody was going to get through if there was a tree down, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to swerve out of the lane to get by it, and that's what I did at first. And I was like, oh no, this needs to move.
Yeah.
And it
Before
was
somebody hits it.
Yeah, it was a small enough tree to where it's like shove it, and you don't have to be a weightlifter to move that. You just have to be a Gabe.
You just have to be a Gabe, not full swole.
And so yeah, so once I got past 364, I basically moved south to 30 because I saw that it was staying in Payton, Tishomingo area. So I carried 30 all the way over. I didn't see anything that confirmed a tornado happening, but definitely
Sorry, just keep talking. Sorry, I'm just looking.
I'm curious. Whatever. Start looking at stuff.
No. I'm just we were talking for a few minutes. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. There's nothing that I'm really super concerned with at this point down there. It is interesting. I would love to have eyes on this Vernon storm. Oh,
Mhm.
that's going to go back 6 hours. Let me stop the loop. Make it 1 hour. Um, just because I honestly think it kind of looks like a. I don't know if that's all one storm or if that's multiple storms and flanking lines all trying to like get more organized. In fact, you have that boundary up just north
Yeah,
of it.
it's out of
I don't know. It's interesting to see one of this over this terrain and not over fields in Kansas or Texas or Oklahoma or someplace like that.
But you want a clear visual, that's where you chase for it.
Yeah, not
Because
here.
every time you asked, it was like, do you have a visual below? It's like, I see trees
I
of
see
green and
Flowers too.
yeah, and flowers too.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so if someone was asking Houston, Houston's clear, Eupora's clear, Ackerman's clear, Starkville's clear, Louisville's clear. Everything west of this, Aberdeen's clear, Amory's clear, Tupelo, Red Bay, Fulton. Yep. All this stuff is clear. We're watching kind of a narrow area here. There is that boundary. Not impossible that something silly happens here, but hopefully that is not the case. To hopefully, define what we're kind of talking about there. Okay, continue on with your story.
So yeah, so whenever we got back to 30, I basically took 30 east and tracked behind these storms. Never really confirmed anything, but it looked menacing.
Mhm.
And so it almost was a cyclical pattern for it of it would develop, weaken, develop, weaken.
That's exactly what I mean. It was cycling for sure.
Yeah, and
No
so
question.
it just never had that push.
Whatever it was, it was there was an ingredient that wasn't quite. We can dig in, we'll figure it out, but that wasn't quite there.
No, yeah, and it was there in North Alabama because that's what set it fully over the edge. So, yeah, so whenever we got over, I was wondering if there'd be damage in Tishomingo or Payton, not any damage. Some more of the just leaves and sticks on the road clutter that we were tracking over going up 25. But aside from that, I was really all the extended damage I saw. Steeple,
Mm-hmm.
and they sent in that picture, and that was over on the east side of Boonville. So not fully into the rural area of the county. It was right outside of Boonville, probably about 10 minutes. And we went, and this was the steeple. It was basically, I wish there was a picture of the bolts that was holding it. Because, well, actually, let's use this. Go to that next picture. There's bolts on the top, and is that right there?
Yeah, that's probably it.
Yes, so that bolt, it was that one right there. That one basically got shifted down,
Okay.
but the rest of them are still straight up. So the chapel, or not the chapel, the steeple was lifted straight up almost, and then that one corner was where it kind of tilted a little bit. The rest of them were
Well,
all
okay,
straight
so
up.
was it lifted straight up, or did it break the wood on the bottom there to
It
let
wasn't
it out?
broken. The holes where the bolts were in the steeple were still holes. They were not ripped out.
Interesting.
So it was very odd. The only thing, and it
Well,
landed
but you
on
see, it's open on that one side there, so it's possible wind got in and pulled it up because of
could
that.
have. It could have. That I will say, when it landed on just this corner and then tilted over after it landed because there was only a divot in the ground on that one corner right there.
So it went up and
It
maybe
rolled,
tumbled.
It
Do you think
rolled across the roof because there were several dents across that main chapel right there. Yeah, and so there were dents. They were taking pictures for insurance, and it rolled off of that until it fully hit the ground and then was being held up. I joked with them. I was like, if you need more reason to put faith in the cross, then
the cross was what kept
we
it
are
from-
the steeple in this scenario, and the cross is the cross.
The cross does what the cross does. That's kind of a cool story. And then one of the other things I thought was kind of interesting about the way it happens, and I'm going to embarrass you with this. Like with someone, I mean, you probably know this, got video of you
Oh,
helping
yeah.
them trying to kind of.
Pat sent it to me. I said, if I would have known that they were videoing, I would have flexed a little more. No, but this is just, you're helping the community out. They're going through devastating circumstances, and so you got to get dirty and get in there with them. And anything that we can do to help, and if there's 30 minutes to an hour between shows, get in there and get dirty.
Yeah.
So that was what I wanted to do, and a steeple is not as light as you would think.
Oh, I don't think it's very light. It doesn't.
It
It doesn't.
took all of us to do it. So good communication and some willpower got it done. And they put a small ladder on the top of this and strapped it to the ground. So in the event of the next storms that we're moving through, fortunately not as strong, it wasn't going to move. They strapped that down nice. So,
Good.
And they're going to put a new steeple in at some point because there are some cracks right along the base. And they have not decided what they want to do with this. I told them that make a little memorial out of it to remember the day because that steeple is over 40 years old.
Wow.
So definitely a part of the church and they need to keep it.
And what was the name of the church again?
Journey. It used to be a different name. And so that's where people were commenting on social media saying it was Jones Chapel or something like that. But it's Journey Community Church or something like that.
Is what it goes by at this point.
Yes. They changed their name here recently. I want to say within the last 10 years. I'm going to look here real quick.
Okay.
Journey Community Church. So,
Okay.
great people.
Well, thank you for doing that.
Of course.
Appreciate it. I know they appreciate it too.
They were just glad that everyone was still in one piece because they said they could see whenever they got out of shelter, the clouds lifting from the ground. So, it tried.
It was trying really hard. And you know what? I've said this before. Like I would always rather look dumb and say we're going to have tornadoes and then it doesn't happen.
Exactly.
I mean, 10 out of 10 every single time. That'd be best case scenario.
Well, and you had been mentioning the broad level 3 risk covering multiple states, and you said it was relatively large for a level 3 risk. Well, you look over North Alabama,
Hmm.
that's a worthwhile risk, right? In the
Yeah.
eyes of the people.
Well, and we're on the development end, and anytime you're on the development end, there's a chance it does not produce, and we'll get more reports coming from them over the next day or
Mhm.
so. And you saw obviously the videos out of Tish, Mingo County, or from up around there. I mean, that water spout was interesting, that's for sure.
They were
Not a
saying,
water spout, tornado over water.
they were saying there was damage. I'm working to get footage from the guy who got clear cut footage on Eastport, I believe, is where that's at over by Pickwick.
Yeah.
And so we got a confirmed tornado, but a lot of people were saying, "Oh, that's not a big deal. It was over water." At some point, it got off the water,
Hmm.
and I think that it did damage to Eastport, and it's pretty much how close is Eastport to the state line?
I mean, basically at.
Because I don't know
I
if you
mean-
could classify that as a Mississippi tornado or Alabama. Yeah, I mean, it's right on the line right there. So they've already.
I mean, it's basically like right. How did it pop on? There we are, right there. I
Right
mean,
there.
like I said,
Yeah, so
at the line.
damage would have been right along the well, it follows this path.
Tennessee
Yeah,
River,
right there.
Pickwick Lake area.
So yeah. So yeah. I mean, I think it did start in Mississippi and then moved into Alabama before doing more damage further down.
Yeah.
So
So there you go. Well-
Chelsea was on that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And thankfully, I mean, could have been worse. Always could be worse.
No, that outflow is still there.
Yep. Exactly. That's the thing. And that's part of what makes this storm over here in Fayette and out toward Vernon interesting to me is because there's our outflow right there. And if that can attach to it, say out here, Carbon Hill, maybe Jasper.
I'll tell the Mainers to over in Birmingham to be on alert.
I'm sure they are. Sure they are. You don't end up a meteorologist if your parents aren't on alert more than most parents are on alert.
There's been a couple times where I called them. I said, "Hey, tornado warning." I said, "I got to get out of bed." Like, yep, you sure do.
Mhm. A good son would buy their parents weather call for Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? That's not a bad idea.
It's like all I'm giving you for Christmas is your life. You brought me into this world, and now I'm keeping you in it.
I think because he's a pastor, he just has faith that, like, you know what, there'll be a hand of
It's
protection.
yes, but
Which there
but
is.
God gives us
Exactly.
wisdom.
You gotta do what God puts in place to protect you.
God gives you wisdom. That is a gift. I just have a real hard. My time's my time, and I'm not saying he says that, but
I made a video about that. Did you see it?
I did. Strong opinions on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
I
I think we're pretty much done.
Yeah.
And we've kind of kept this live stream sort of going, but the reality is I think we're largely pretty much done at this point here. So let's, as soon as we shut this down, something stupid's going to happen.
That's how it always
that
works.
100% of the time. Let's go ahead and shut down the. You know what? Let's go to 8:45. Watch that last warning expire. But they'll probably issue that farther east.
Yeah, it's moving out of it by now.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and shut down the live streams. We'll shut down this one as well. If we got to do something else, we'll come back on and do it. If you have any damage reports or anything to send in to us, weather@wtva.com, WTVA Weather app, good ways in order to share those. And thanks for watching. Stay safe. I'm glad everyone's